Hello, I'm putting on makeup, and that's all. I use this elf thing. It's got primer on one side and concealer on the other for my puffy crying eyes. I cry too much, and it sucks. Pausing. I have all these little uh containers of or little tubes of stuff because I subscribe to Ipsy, and so I have a mess of little containers of primers and different makeups, most of which I don't really even use. And then I unsubscribed to them and then I resubscribed. There are things I do use of theirs. Like right now I'm using IT Primer. I thought I liked the IT uh, makeup brand, and I even bought some. Uh, I noticed that the IT BB cream is kind of pore cloggy. But maybe that's just because I haven't been using it with the primer. I didn't know. Let's see. I'm going to pretend like I'm going to post this on YouTube, so I will mention that I am autistic and I'm 44 years old, and so maybe I look slightly youthful because I've spent most of my life not really making that many facial expressions, though I do cry a lot, so, you know, that, that should make my face more wrinkly, I suppose, and I don't work on hydrating myself the way that I ought to. So I have a lot of bad habits, but I've been putting on makeup habitually, and the CC, the ITCC stuff. If I don't use the primer, then it clogs my pores, I've noticed. But it seems to be good stuff. Otherwise, let's see. What was I saying? Oh yes. I maybe start. I might start making more videos. I always say that. I have thousands, as the few of you who actually watch this video would know, but I've not made them in a while, and even though quarantine has been happening, I've still managed to not get back into the habit of making videos the way that I used to, which was rather quite obsessively. And, it was like my main special interest for a while, and I still play the ukulele and I still write songs. I just have gotten more self-conscious about videos. And a while back I tried to do some ASMR stuff, but I was having trouble because there was too much ambient noise in the background, and one of the things with my particular set of traits is that I have rather severe executive dysfunction, which means that it just doing basic stuff is a kind of a big complicated mess for me, and I tend to get overwhelmed and I stop before I ever even get started. Uh, if I have a lot of energy, uh, mental energy going into something, then maybe I'm maybe it'll be easier. But anyway, yes. I have symptoms of, in addition to attention deficit disorder and autistic spectrum stuff, both of which I have basic diagnoses for. I also have lifelong symptoms of dyspraxia or developmental coordination disorder, and and it overlaps with all the other stuff, so it's really hard to say which symptoms come from which thing. Like uh, the like not knowing where my body is in relation to my environment, and sort of not able to not there's kind of a disconnect between my hands and my brain. Uh, it's it's noticeable when I try to draw, and it's like I can draw, I just can't get my hand to do what I want it to do on the paper. What my brain wants my hand to do, my hand will not do. That's one way of describing it. And growing up, I've always been an idiopathic toe walker. Like I walk on my tiptoes. That's a sensory thing, and I'm thinking that's possibly because of the dyspraxia. I'm not sure, but just very very clumsy, and it's not only physical; it's also a mental clumsiness. It's uh, yeah, it's like a mental clumsiness. Anyway, it's I I I I manage. I don't have a day job. You know, I don't drive a car, and I've had jobs in the past, but I don't think I've ever had a job where my issues did not kind of uh, get in the way of my my issues did not uh, cause me troubles, and so like into my uh, you know I would eventually get into trouble at jobs, or it would be acknowledged that I have issues and I'm different, but you know they didn't fire. They kept me on the staff anyway. Um, Ever since my probably my first job, that's been uh, an element of my being employed anywhere, is that it's always been acknowledged that I'm I am an oddball, and yet they couldn't really fire me for it because I was trying, but it did cause me a bunch of trouble, and blah, blah, blah. I haven't had a normal job uh, for many years, so it's scary to think of what it would be like if I had to get a job at like Dollar General or Kroger or something. Anyway, unscheduled crying jag. Sorry, I've been a mental mess lately. I haven't minded the social isolation so much from the quarantine, but it can still get overwhelming occasionally. had it paused for a while, and then I just unpaused it.
What should you do with an empty, coated heavy paper carton that contains milk, juice, or cream? Can it be recycled? Well, it depends on your local municipality. Although the cartons are mostly made of paper, they are coated with plastic and sometimes even wax. That makes them a mixed commodity, and some city recycling programs won't accept them, but others will. It's best to check with your local municipality's recycling program to
I only
find out
recently
its
started
policy
wearing
and what you should do
eyeshadow,
with
and
these coated
I tend to
cartons.
not really know what I'm doing when I put it on.
Thanks for watching. Join us next.
I like this glittery eyeshadow from Wet and Wild. This is the gold color. It's brass. It's supposed to be a brassy color. I just like the sparklies. Yay, sparklies. Usually when I put on makeup, I spend about 5 minutes where I feel like I look like a silent film person, sort of, and then it all kind of falls apart. But things I've not done, I've not contoured my face. I guess I'll try that and see what happens.
It's all about disturbing the soil allotments so that the microorganisms which are already there are
Oops.
not going to go anywhere else. They'll just
I thought I was
get a lot of
unpaused, and now I'm unpaused, so I did a bunch of the video while paused. Oh well.